We're going to be cooking a couple of mackerel today. Going to have some really delicious sort of spices on it, make it really yummy. Doesn't take long to do, very cheap fish, and the recipe's delicious. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just to make some little slits in the skin, just as you go through. Quite a few, because you want to get the flavours in. I mean, what you don't want to do is to cut it too deep, but just go all the way along, because really this is where the flavours are going to come in. You know, we're going to get in that flesh and they're going to be really yummy. Now I'm actually going to do this on both sides, so when you've done one side, flip it over and do the same on the other side. Now we've got the cuts on both sides, what we're going to do is I'm going to run you through the spices we're going to use. Now I've got the spices all laid out there. Now I'm going to use equal quantities of each of these. Now I'm just going to show you, this is a teaspoon, we're going to use half a teaspoon of each of these. This is the one you put your sort of, you know, sugar in your tea and stuff, so it's a small spoon. Now what we're going to use is some caster sugar, mustard powder, cayenne pepper, paprika, coriander, ground black pepper, and we've got some salt. And what we're going to do is mix those into a pan of butter, a little bit of butter, melt them up, and then we're going to pour that straight on the fish, and all those flavours are going to be delicious. Now I've got my pan there, nice small pan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the heat on. Now before I do that, it's worth putting your grill on and turn it up to maximum so that the fish is ready to go straight in under the grill. So I've got my grill on and that's nice and hot, ready for the fish once we've poured all this lovely flavours over it. Now I've got a pan there and I've got the gas on. So really I would say about 15-20 grams of butter, but just a small splodge. And what we're doing is just waiting for the butter to sort of melt and start to froth a little bit, and then we're going to add all those lovely spices in there. So I've got the butter all melted, I've got all the spices there. I'm just going to pour the whole lot in all at the same time, give that a quick stir, and then we're just going to add in a little bit of red wine vinegar. You don't want to cook this for too long because you don't want to sort of overly cook these spices. And I'm going to put the red wine vinegar in. Now the amount I'm going to use of that is really like a capful. You know when you get a cap on the lid, just pour that in. You don't want to put too much of the vinegar in because otherwise it can be overpowering. Turn it off now, that's all done. So we're going to move that out of the way, and what I'm going to do is get a little pan, a baking tray, and we're going to put the fish in there and just pour that over the top. Try and get it in all those sort of cuts we made, and save a little bit for the other side as well. So I'm just going to turn it over and put it on the other side. Just before you turn it over, just wrap it in a little bit, because you really want to try and get that in there as much as possible. Do it on both fish, and we just turn it over like that, and then we're going to pour the rest of that mixture on. Beautiful. Just going to get those last bits out. And again, rub that in and then put it straight under the grill. So I've got my fish there, I'm going to pop it under the grill, maximum heat for about 4 minutes on each side. Do turn it over sort of halfway through. Right, I'm just going to pull the mackerel out. I've been cooking for about 4 minutes and say got a really nice colour there. So what I'm going to do is pull them out, and I'm going to just flip them over on the other side and cook them for another 4 minutes on the other side as well. I've just pulled the fish out, put that in view. Now what I'm going to do is just turn them over. Now before I turn them over, it's always good to give your fish a little bit of a shake, because it kind of makes sure they're nice and loose and the skin doesn't stick. Now obviously you can use anything you like to pull them over. I'm just going to use a couple of spoons. Try not to break them up. So I think just about there. Do the same on the other side. That's it. So put those back in the oven under the grill, and we're going to cook those for another 4 minutes. So 8 minutes in total. I'm just going to pull the fish out because I think it's pretty much all done now. Look at that. Looks beautiful. I'm going to serve that up and put it on a plate. I've got my plate there. I'm just going to put a bit of fish on there. I mean, you can serve that with a nice crusty bit of bread or rice, whatever you like really. A few chips, it's always good. And what we can do is just try a little bit of this, see what these flavours are like. Let me try that. Look at that. Looks lovely. Let me try it. Really nice. You've still got the mackerel flavour, but you've got the kind of hints of flavours. That's all the ones we put in the spices, but nothing's too overpowering. Really nice. I'm going to try a little bit more of that. You can't go wrong. Really simple, really cheap. Thanks for watching. Enjoy.